Today, we're diving into something that's a really common but so deeply misunderstood part of borderline personality disorder, paranoid ideation. It's that overwhelming, gut-wrenching suspicion that can flip your world upside down, making trust feel dangerous and connection feel like a trap. So, let's get into what this really is.
You know that feeling? You walk into a room, the conversation stops, and your stomach just drops? Your first thought, they were talking about me. Or maybe you send a text to someone you care about, and you see they've read it, but there's no reply. And your mind just starts to spiral, right? Well, that's the world that paranoid ideation creates. And for someone with BPD, this isn't a once-in-a-while thing. It can be a constant reality.
So, what are we actually talking about here? Well, paranoid ideation is this really intense, nagging suspicion that people are lying to you, that they're judging you, or that they're secretly getting ready to leave you, even when you have zero concrete evidence. It's a distortion, a twisting of reality that feels 100% real in the moment.
Now, it's really important to clarify what this isn't. Paranoid ideation in BPD is not the same thing as psychosis. As you can see here, it's a distortion of reality, not a total break from it. It's that intense suspicion, usually kicked off by stress in your relationships. It's not the same as experiencing things like hallucinations.
And this is where it gets so personal and painful. A partner going quiet isn't just seen as them being tired or stressed from work. Nope. It's immediately interpreted as a sign they're pulling away, that they've found someone else, that they're about to leave. The mind just builds this entire, detailed story of betrayal, and your body reacts with very real, very physical fear.
So that brings us to the big question, right? Why? Why does this happen? Let's dig into the roots of this mistrust to really get a handle on where it comes from.
For a lot of people, this all starts way back in childhood. Imagine the people who are supposed to be your safe harbor, your parents, your caregivers, repeatedly break your trust. When that happens, your nervous system learns a fundamental rule to survive. Getting close to people is not safe.
And that learned rule leads to something called hypervigilance. Your brain basically gets stuck in fight or flight mode. It's constantly scanning, searching for the tiniest signs of danger or rejection. We're not talking about obvious threats here. We're talking about a slight change in someone's tone of voice, a look that lasts a second too long. These tiny signals get amplified into massive alarms of impending doom. It's not about being dramatic. It's a survival instinct working overtime.
Another huge piece of this puzzle is identity disturbance. See, if you don't have a solid, stable sense of who you are at your core, it creates this kind of internal void. And the human mind absolutely hates a vacuum. So it rushes to fill in those gaps, and it usually fills them with the worst-case scenarios, with fears about what other people must be thinking about you.
And this ties right into a core trait of BPD that you've probably heard of: splitting. It's basically black and white thinking, no gray areas. A person can be totally perfect, all good, your savior. But then, one neutral comment, one slightly off action, and bam! They can instantly flip in your mind to being all bad, an enemy who was probably faking it the whole time and must secretly hate you.
Okay, so we've covered the why. Now let's get into what this actually looks and feels like in day-to-day life. So picture this. You walk into the break room at work. Two coworkers are talking, they look up, and they get quiet. For someone experiencing paranoid ideation, the internal monologue is immediate. They were just talking about me. I knew it. They hate me. I don't belong here. And it's not just a thought. Your chest gets tight. Your palms get sweaty. It feels real.
Or let's say you're out with a group of friends. Two of them share a quick inside joke and laugh. Instead of being a harmless little moment, your brain interprets it as a direct attack. They're laughing at me. They don't even want me here. This whole thing is a lie, and they're planning to cut me out. And just like that, a place that should feel safe suddenly feels incredibly hostile.
And in romantic relationships, my gosh, it can be absolutely devastating. Your partner gets home a little late from work. The paranoid thought pattern doesn't just suggest, it screams betrayal. They're lying, they were with someone else, this is it, they're going to leave me. You don't need any proof, because the feeling of betrayal becomes all the proof you need.
And here is the absolute key, the reason you can't just snap out of it. This doesn't feel like a maybe or a possibility. The second that thought hits, your body's alarm system goes haywire. It floods with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. As far as your nervous system is concerned, the betrayal, the abandonment, it's not a future threat. It is happening right now.
So yeah, this is a deeply painful, vicious cycle. But, and this is a big but, it is not unbreakable. Let's shift gears and talk about how to actually start coping with this and reclaiming your sense of safety.
All right, this is your practical toolkit for when those feelings hit. First, you've got a reality test. Stop and ask yourself, okay, what actual hard evidence do I have for this fear, and what are some other possible explanations for what's happening? Next, ground yourself. Bring your focus back to the present moment. Feel your feet on the floor. Focus on your breath. Remind yourself this is a feeling, not a fact. Now, if the panic is really intense, you can use distress-tolerant skills. Seriously, go grab an ice cube and hold it, or splash some cold water on your face. The intense sensation can actually interrupt that panic signal in your brain. Then comes communication. This is a huge one. Instead of lashing out with an accusation, try to speak from the vulnerability underneath. Hey, I'm feeling really scared and insecure right now. This opens the door for connection, not conflict. And through it all, please practice self-compassion. You are not crazy. This is your brain's old wiring trying to protect you from past hurts. And finally, remember that you don't have to do this alone. Therapies like DBT and schema therapy are literally designed to help heal these exact kinds of deep trust wounds.
So coping isn't just about using tools in a crisis. It's also about a really fundamental shift in how you see these thoughts in the first place.
I want you to just sit with this for a second. What would happen if, instead of fighting these paranoid thoughts like they're the enemy, you started treating them like scared little parts of yourself? Like a child who's been hurt before, who's just terrified of it happening again and is screaming for reassurance.
This right here gives you a mantra for that new relationship with your fear. You can say to it internally, okay, I hear you, I see you, I know you're trying to keep me safe, thank you. And then the most important part, but I don't have to obey you. It's about acknowledging the feeling without letting it steer the ship. You're taking your power back.
And let's be real, healing isn't about getting to a point where you never feel paranoid again. That's probably not realistic. Healing is about learning to pause, to breathe through the fear, and to understand that a feeling of fear doesn't always mean you're in real danger. It's about remembering a fundamental truth that paranoia tries so hard to make you forget, that you are, and you have always been, worthy of love and connection.